From the age of Big Brother.
If they want to get you, they'll get you. The NSA specifically targets the communications of everyone. They're collecting your communications.
All right, folks. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. We're here for, once again, this week's edition of Thought Crime Thursday. We've got some excellent topics for tonight. In fact, in this week, we've also got some live experiments that we are going to be testing out here in the room. Andrew, of course, is not on today, though, so we'll not be checking if he has his suit on. Today is actually Andrew's birthday. He is turning 50. He's a very old man, and we are very, very excited for him. And as such, yes, he has taken the day off. But let's see who we do have around with us around the room. I believe we have Russ Basie. Producer Russ.
Howdy,
Come on, man. We've got Blake holding it down.
Hoorah!
And back after, I mean, the audience didn't really ask for him back, but he's here anyway. It's Mikey.
Great topics, not so great guests.
No, the guests are a little lackluster. What can I say? Yeah. Scraping the bottom of the bargain bin for this week. But but we will persevere. We will indeed persevere. What are we starting with, guys? What are we going with to start out?
Do we want to start with the energy drinks? Because I think that flows into our experiment.
I don't get the energy drinks thing. I don't even know what this is. So you guys are gonna have to lead me through this one.
Russ, I think you're our biggest energy drink expert. So introduce the Jesus
He's
juice.
The connoisseur, yes.
Cheers.
Tell us about Jesus juice.
Yeah, so Jesus juice. This has become a fad.
Wait, not that Jesus juice, right, Russ?
Yes. I've never tried any of these these Christian energy drinks, but it's become a fad that Christian content creators are starting to create these Christian energy drinks, and to counteract the the existence of Monster and Red Bull. And it's actually kind of funny because this kind of goes full circle for me, because when I first started drinking energy drinks, I have a very granola mom. So first off, she was like, oh, well, it's bad for you. It's, it's going to kill you, all of this. And then she started sending me Facebook stuff about the fact that Monster is the mark of the beast, and all of this
Russ just dining his mom out.
Demonic stuff. And actually we found
wait, hold on. Well, hold on. It is the mark of the beast, apparently. So that's a chart.
No, I have seen this. No,
if you can't see it, this is, I guess, Hebrew numerals.
Yeah.
Their way of showing 6 is very similar to each column on the Monster label. That's kind of disturbing. Have they ever commented on this?
Is that really what it looks like? That's
See, Jack, that's where I'm at too. I agree. I'm there with you. I'm I think,
but that's also so. For example, I'll throw something else out. That's also in Greek. Isn't that just the symbol for G, for gamma?
I have to look this up.
Yeah, I know. I have to also.
Gamma would be the other direction, I think.
Yeah,
but
it's the other direction. It looks like a.
All right. Well, pretty close. Okay.
It looks like an
F.
the other direction. It looks like an F without the.
Okay, so Monster's demonic. But
it's pretty close to a number of other things. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so Monster's demonic, but now I'm looking here, and we've got. There's a lot. I thought this would be about one Christian energy drink brand.
No, there's a lot.
But we have Yahweh energy, and they have the berry blessed flavor.
Exactly.
We have Agape energy with peach and peach, and we have Forgiven.
Yep.
With the number 4. Are there others? Are there more than these?
They're coming. Oh, there's Praise Energy.
Praise Energy.
That's the one that's most recent, because the guy is he's become very popular on TikTok, and so he was like, hey, I'm coming out with a Christian energy.
Praise Energy's mascot, Zion the Lion, is a cartoon lion sporting an I Heart Jesus t-shirt and high top sneakers. And then there's Air Lion, whose mascot feels like it should be a cartoon lion, but confused. Oh wait, there's Airline is just another brand. Oh, it's a totally different brand that doesn't have a lion as its logo. How can there be this many Christian energy drink brands? How many energy drinks do you need to sell to make a profit on these?
I mean,
because what they're doing is these are all just white labels for each various influencer. So it's probably not very much different in terms of what's actually in the can. It's just what's different. Like many of the I'm just guessing. It's kind of like what's probably being done is that they're being made at one place, and then each person is getting their own label on it, and then what goes out is like who markets what, so who gets the who gets the markup on it.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Jake Paul did with
I assume that's what started this.
His energy drink and that kind of stuff. It's like if you're any influencer worth their salt, you're gonna come out with an energy drink at some point. Is what it
or
feels
a tequila
like.
company.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's like every single celebrity.
Yeah.
So the natural follow-up to this, I guess, this is silly. I find it funny, but the big question is this good or bad, or is it even a moral question? Is it good for Christian influencers to come out with a Christian branded energy drink? Is this grifting? Is this sinful to do? Is it totally fine? Are you representing the faith in the public square, kind of the way In-N-Out has Bible verses on their fries? What's the right way to go about this? Mikey, how do you feel about it?
I don't think there's any problem with this. It's like it reminds me of the right-wing economy that we've built. Everybody was canceling conservatives, didn't let conservatives shop at certain places, canceled their accounts, canceled their banks. And then we came up with our own banking system. We came up with our own right-wing economy. And I don't think there's a problem with Christians doing the same thing. But also, like, I talked about this earlier. Like, you see Arabic writing and you immediately think of Islam. Like, I want so much Christian, like this Christian economy to be built in the U.S. that anytime you see English, you just immediately think of Christianity. And I don't care if it's energy drinks. I don't care if it's a coffee company. I don't care if it's Jeremy's Razors, like whatever it is, as long as it is true and a good virtuous company that's not supporting Planned Parenthood and nasty things. Like, yeah, build your own company.
Yeah, and I had a friend who went once to, I think it was Ghana. He visited, and one of the things he said that stood out to him there is actually how incredibly aggressively Christian a lot of random businesses might be. And so he mentioned, I think he saw like "He died for your sins" barbershop, basically, or like "Washed in the blood of the Lamb," some other business, bakery, something like that, butcher shop, something like that. And I guess that did actually sound pretty moving to me in the sense, obviously they might be good or bad Christians, but it is, we often say, if you are a Christian, people should know you are a Christian. One of the best things about Charlie is every single aspect of his life was pervaded with faith. And I guess it would sound a little picky to then if someone releases, I'm going to release an energy drink to go with my brand, and yeah, it's going to have Christian labeling on it because I'm a Christian. I guess it would be weird to get too upset about it. But I can definitely imagine versions of this that would be upsetting to me, but it'd probably be upsetting for the same reason a non-religious brand might be upsetting.
Fair. I think the counterweight in my head with all of this is that the problem today is that a lot of people do not take pride in their work, or they turn something like this specifically when it comes to influencers. This becomes just a gimmick. So then they don't care what's in the product. They don't care how it's made. And so then you're just, hey, it's just a gimmick. And at the same time, when you look at the Bible talks about that that we're supposed to be hard workers and everything. I think if you're going to put Christian labeling on any type of product, you need to it needs to stand up to other products and show that you've actually put in, the work and the effort, in my opinion. What do you think, Jack?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I disagree completely. I think this is incredibly simple. I'm just gonna say it. Like I think this is really immoral. Unless people are like giving these away for free or something. Like if you're making money off of like selling stuff in the name of Christ, like what is wrong with you? You know, unless you're not donating like the vast majority of revenue that comes in from this to to some kind of charitable organization or to an actual Christian organization, then but if it's just influencers doing this, like, I mean, that's like that's like kind of stuff you go to hell for. Like you don't use Christ's image and likeness as a way to put money in your pocket. You just shouldn't do that. And this is obviously, we see Jesus in the Bible being very, very explicit about throwing the money changers out of the temple, that you are not supposed to mix these two things. So yeah, I actually I hadn't known about this. I'd never heard about this. Huge problem.
So what about, where does the dividing line?
You-
Because I can imagine, for example, Christian bookstores exist that sell Christian books, or we're having a Passion of the Christ sequel come out. That is, I believe, going to be a for-profit film. Certainly the actors in the film are all for-profit
Mel Gibson is going to
participants.
be making money off of that.
Yeah. So is there, what things are acceptable and what things aren't, I suppose, in your view, Jack?
Yeah, well, again, I mean, you're making an apples to oranges comparison. You're comparing like going to see a movie, or which again tells the story of Christ, or going to read a book which tells the story of Christ or has some analysis on Christ. That's not going into some influencer's pocket, right? You're talking about something that's mass media versus just like a cheap product.
But I'm not sure I see the difference there. Like, or
They're
could
both
you
products.
do it with the product? So, for example,
No, they're
let's
not
say the
just
product.
the
Let's
same
say the
thing, though.
product
You can't
actually
like,
included.
I get what you're trying to say, but
a
they're not the
witness
same
to the
thing at all.
gospel on it somewhere, like right next to the nutrition facts or something. It could be like some brief repent
No, so like,
of your sins.
like In and Out. No, like In and Out, I think does it the right way. I think even though as everyone knows, I'm
agree
on the other
with
side of it.
Jack.
I think
I
they
agree
do
with
it.
Jack
I do
a
it the
little
right
bit.
way.
I
This
do
is
agree with
cringe.
Jack
Like
a
it's
little bit.
super cringe.
Is
Super
it cringe, or are they going to hell? Because you said that this is the stuff people go to hell for. So you're saying
This is definitely the stuff. If you don't
Okay, so
ask
the
for
influencers
forgiveness for this
selling
kind of
this-
stuff, you will go to hell. Yes.
Okay, so the influencers selling this are going to hell.
Yes.
Okay, where is that biblical exactly?
Yeah. Well, again, I literally just gave you the example of throwing out the money changers.
Christ flipping the tables.
Yeah.
How is that? How does
they were
that
in the temple.
draw a comparison?
Are these in the
yeah,
temple?
Exactly.
Again, like you're being very like word centric. Again, as Christ said, we're not supposed to take it's the spirit of the law versus the letter of the law. So what he's saying is you shouldn't mix worship with commerce. That's the point.
Well, okay, but let's go back to the movie then. I think then you could argue then they shouldn't sell tickets for the movie. They should only put on broadcasts of the movie and people can go for free. Yeah.
If I were going to put out something religious, like in this vein, I would definitely do something with the profits that wasn't going directly in my pocket. 100%. I wouldn't want that on my ledger.
Okay, absolutely, but a lot of these people are not. Like that's kind of the thing, is like a lot of this stuff it's all for profit. Mel Gibson's movie talking about Jesus is for profit. It's showing the likeness of Jesus. He's probably going to donate some of it, but a lot of that is going to be to pay him. It's to pay the actors. It's to pay, it's to pay all of these people.
No, I'm not saying don't make movies about
movie.
Jesus. I want to be clear about that. I'm not saying don't make movies. I do also think that movies are a fundamentally different thing, which for some reason you guys don't seem to understand.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I see how it's fundamentally different.
You're all much younger and more immature than our old friend Andrew.
Of course,
but
yes, of course.
but
because you're young, you're stupid, right?
Well, generally, yes, but not always.
Young people are pretty stupid, but no, I think I'm not sure I see the clear-cut distinction here.
I will agree with Jack on one
Between a
thing.
movie and an energy drink and a white labeled energy drink.
No, I don't. They're both consumer products.
Christian merchandise.
You don't
Can
see
you
a
be a
difference between
worship
a white
artist?
labeled energy drink and a movie? Like really?
No, I don't. I don't see the movie.
artist?
I don't see the difference in terms of this is a commercial product you will pay money for, other people will pay money for, and it will enrich somebody if this product does well. And so if you were saying these drinks might be okay if someone was giving them away, well, they're not giving away the movie.
I've also said, and by the way, I'm consistent on this. I've also said in the past that I'm not a fan of those apps where like you pay to pray. They have like fees that you can pay along to pray, like oh, we've got pray extra with this fee and pay, and it's like I'm not a fan. Really
Yeah,
not a fan.
no, that caused a lot of problems for the church 500 years ago too.
Yeah.
I think this is a genuinely very interesting topic because again, like I'm thinking as an example, let's say you were running a barber shop.
So
let's just use
so
like a
here's the
barber shop as an
difference, right?
example.
I can explain the difference very clearly. If you want me to explain the difference.
Sure, okay.
So a story that a film that shares the story of Christ to a mass audience is inherently going out into the world and sharing the gospel. An energy drink that is just an energy drink with a picture of Jesus on it is just extracting money from a community of Christian followers and putting it in your pocket.
Okay, but what if they put Bible verses on the drink? What if they pay to have the drink or they market to have the drink in neutral environments where it could be encountered by a non-believer? I think
If you didn't call it Yahweh juice or whatever they called it,
Yeah.
then and it just had Bible verses, that'd be fine.
I'm a little two-sided on both of this because I think I am a fan of subtlety in the sense just what Jack said. In and out is a perfect example. They're not throwing it in your face, but if you happen to look at the bottom of your cup, you're going to see a Bible verse. But at the same time, another perfect example is Chick-fil-A. Like they are very clear on what their organization's morals are. And yes, they've taken a bigger stance than a lot of companies by saying, hey, we're not going to be open on Sundays. But it's not in your face, right? Culture has pretty much accepted that, hey, I can't go to Chick-fil-A
But when
on
we
Sunday.
say, I think when we say it's not in your face, what are we actually saying? I think a lot of people just say they don't want it in their face because they think it's kind of annoying if something is in their face.
Wait, can I give
Is
you
it
an example
actually
of that
bad or immoral to
I just
extremely
found out-
loudly say, this is Christian, here is Christianity, here's all this Christian stuff in your face? That might be annoying, but is it wrong? I'm not sure if it is.
No. And by the
Well,
way,
hold on.
I've also said many times that I'm a huge fan of like street preachers. When we had that street preacher in Chaz, years ago, I was right there able to interview him when he got assaulted. That's something I think those guys are great. I think they're absolutely great. But again, they're not charging people like this. And again, the sin doesn't come just from the activity; it comes from what's in the person's heart. So, it could be something where they don't realize that how sinful it is, something where they may need to understand later. The one I want to give you a better example of though is are you guys familiar with Sweet Frog? Have you heard about Sweet Frog? Do you know what that is?
Sounds like a yogurt company.
It is a yogurt company indeed.
Oh wow!
And it's
How did
it's
you
in
know
the
that, Blake?
it's in the DC area, which is maybe why you've heard of it. And so it's Sweet Frog yogurt, and I just know it because it's a yogurt brand in the area. I mean, they have about 350 different, apparently they have one in Scottsdale as well. And, they have a bunch of locations, whatever. But here's what I didn't even know until Tanya mentioned it to me the other day, that apparently frog in Sweet Frog is a reference to Christ.
What?
Even though their mascot is a frog. Yeah, I know.
Okay, I looked this up. I thought it was a yogurt company because, in fact, there was a Sweet Frog a block from my place in DC, and I went to it. I didn't know it was a Christian thing.
That's
No,
funny.
you never know that. So, Russ, to your point, this is where like the subtlety goes a little bit too awry because it's like too clever by half, and they say, frog. Okay, so frog. The frog part of the name stands for fully rely on God, which is
Sounds
just
like
bizarre to me.
It almost reminds me of Nintendo, the video game company. Technically, I mean, they're not Christian, but their Japanese names essentially like leave it to heaven, more or less, like heaven's providence. Yes.
I'd never known that. That's cool.
Yeah. So I want to get a few because we have the chat getting involved. First, Zuzu's Pedals is always around, and she points out that Hope Harvard had a Christian makeup line, and she spoke at the Young Women's Leadership Summit in the past.
Nice.
That strikes me as, I guess I don't know the details of this makeup brand, but I think that's just a good example of, and also we should note,
I mean,
Erica herself has Proclaim, which is Christian wear.
To Mikey's point,
But there's a difference between
it's
being
that
like being Christian and like
ecosystem.
saying that this is Christ. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
There's a difference between just
think
being Christian in general and like having crosses
could it be,
and
Jack,
different things and saying
proposal.
that you're Yahweh Jews.
Could the problem be specifically putting Jesus on the can?
I agree with that one.
I could see that being the
see
issue.
that because
I mean, I think that's a big part of it.
I think that's
part of it,
that's a good point. I also want to get Sandra, because she's also says, Jack, specifically on the point of view of the can and it mostly being sold to Christians. Jack, if you carry the drinks around and others see it, they might in turn see that you are a Christian and start conversations similar to wearing a faith-based T-shirt. So, do you have any thoughts on that from Sandra?
Yeah, again, I think that being Christian in public is good. I have obviously advocated for that for many years, but at the same time, I don't think you should put money in your pocket for it. People got on me about, having a rosary, for example, and, people will say, oh, Posobiec is like selling the rosaries. And in fact, I've always turned down whenever anyone's offered me any partnerships for that. I said, no, I'm more than happy to post it. I'll tell people where they can get, whatever rosary it is that I'm, I have, but I wouldn't feel right taking money for that.
Yeah, I think the best argument, Russ, was what you made at the beginning. Like, and Jack, you mentioned this. These are just a bunch of white labels, and they're not checking the quality of this. They're not. It's more of like a get rich quick thing. I think when it's sinful is buy this because, God wants you to buy this because, God wants us to support each other, buy this because prosperity gospel, instead of Christians participating in the marketplace, saying that they want to glorify God through their business. But I do want to say, I don't think that this is like a hell driven thing. Like, I don't think you're going to go to hell for doing this. In fact, and I don't want to throw the baby out the bathwater either. Like, Erica participates with Proclaim Streetwear. Like,
no, but
does this also mean that like worship artists who are getting paid for their worship songs, does that mean they're going to hell? Clothing brand companies.
I think I do, and it's kind of like Blake helped me, put it in words better. Was that the difference is because you're not walking around saying like Yahweh clothes or, Yahweh band. It's just songs about God. That's a band that is Christian, or a apparel company that is Christian. It's different when you're, really just kind of leaning in and using Jesus as like a brand that you can make money off of.
I can see
like
that.
a mascot.
I think there's an element of
it
when you see it.
This is why I also have a problem with Christian, like the Christian movie side of things, where it's so forced, and then the quality isn't good.
Well, sometimes it's just bad because it's bad. But
but that's the point, right? That's the quality part.
Yeah.
That's the quality part, right?
Yeah, that is.
So a similar comparison here, just because it makes me wonder.
If people are doing that because they just want to make money from a Christian audience, then that would be sinful if they're actually not caring.
Because
but who's to say that these energy drink companies, like who's to say some of the owners of these don't actually have a good heart behind this?
God.
And who's to say they don't actually have? Yeah, exactly. Which is like, woe to you who calls evil good and good evil. Like, don't be so quick to judge. What if they are actually donating a majority of their profits to charities and churches and furthering the gospel?
If they are,
like, I'm going to be quicker to give them the benefit of the doubt than I am to say that they're going to hell. But
one last question on this, and then I think we have to move on because we have a very fun food-related topic.
They all look like money changers.
Yeah, one final question is there a difference? So we're talking about products here with an energy drink. Let's suppose a nominally neutral business. I mentioned a barbershop, but maybe a restaurant too. Like, let's imagine an Italian restaurant, but maybe it has a biblically inflected name, like Bread of Life or something. And then maybe the restaurant has a lot of religious decorations in it, might have crosses on the wall, might have Jesus art in various places. You can imagine a very aggressively Christian restaurant when you're in it. And obviously you can't really make Jesus food. It's just going to be normal food. But is it exploitative to make your restaurant extremely aggressively religious in the sense that you might be blackmailing's too aggressive of a word, but you're trying to essentially cash in on, to some extent, on I want Christians to want to come here because it's a super Christian restaurant.
I think
Blake. So
go ahead.
Is the word you're looking for perhaps Christploitation?
Christploitation, potentially. Yeah.
Yeah, so Christploitation is bad. Being Christian is good. That's where I'm gonna fall on this.
I think to Mikey's point,
I
think to Mikey's point, it all has to do with the heart, right? It has to do with is the owner a Christian that he wants that in his store? If that's the case, then. But to your guys' point, like if he's just exploiting, hey, I can make money because Christians will be gullible enough to come to my restaurant because they see all of the iconography, then
But also to Jack's point, like it's James 3:1, which is just teachers are held to a more strict standard, and they'll be judged to a more strict standard. So if you are doing this in a way, you are a teacher, and so you do actually really need to make sure that your heart is in the right place, because if it's not in the right place, and this is just like a prosperity gospel money grab thing, that is a problem. That you are sinning in the midst of that, because you are technically a teacher. You're sharing the gospel. You're participating in sharing the gospel. You're putting it out there. And then one of you guys said it earlier, this could lead to conversations about Christ. If that's your heart, that's a good thing.
But my house shall be called a house of prayer, and you are making it a den of robbers.
All right. Well, speaking of hearts, we need to talk about something that might cause heart failure. So we have another food-related endeavor. This has gone viral, and I saw it, and I thought we've got to get into this. All right, so we have highlights. There's a new fad of food. It's on TikTok. It's on Instagram. It's on every online platform.
It's everywhere.
It is people putting pineapples in Kool-Aid. Run the highlight reel. That is clip 13.
My boy trying the strawberry kiwi. Yeah.
100 out of 10.
100 out of 10.
Fuck with my niggas.
Come on now.
Fuck with my niggas.
Ooh. The juice always gonna do it, I'll tell you. Hey, you can put your juice on some ice. You can mix that shit with some lip.
Gun down, young boy. Make sure I'm straight on stage. I took the backwards run.
So I've been seeing everybody's Kool-Aid pineapple recipe, so let me show you guys how I make mine. First, we start off with the peanut pineapple and the cherry. Let's go ahead and get that up in there. Now you go in nice and right. Add some sugar, but they don't add enough. Let's go whole bag right there.
The viral Kool-Aid Pineapples. These go for $20 a pop.
What you think, man? 10 out of 10?
Yeah.
That's juicy, huh? I appreciate you, dog.
So for those who can't see, this is the latest hot trend in the black culinary world. They are making containers of Kool-Aid. They're adding extra sugar to it, and then they are soaking pineapple spears in it, and they're leaving them overnight to flavor them. And I saw that, and I only had one thought enter my head. I've got to try this. And so yesterday, Ryan and I went to the supermarket, and let me show you, Russ.
Yeah,
you are lucky to be here.
Yeah, let's see it.
We have this.
No.
This.
Oh wait, and we have one more.
Wait, describe it for the audio audience.
Dark cherry.
We have dark cherry. We have grape. We have tropical punch. We have we had bottled water, and then we poured in.
You made these.
We made these. We made these. We left them overnight, the proper amount of seasoning, and we're gonna try them.
Do you leave them? Do you leave them in the fridge? Do you leave them outside? Where do you leave them?
Just in the fridge. Just in the fridge overnight, and you add extra sugar. So I think we added about half a cup of sugar to each of these jars.
Mikey and I were like, "Oh gosh, sorry, we're not in studio."
Yeah, exactly. We see how it is. We see how it is.
It didn't work out with the schedule. Sorry about that.
All right.
What are you gonna do?
Alrighty. So I'm gonna try the tropical punch one here.
Black.
I've got to find out what this is like.
Let's do it.
All right. So this is
Black.
This is tropical punch, pineapple, with Kool-Aid. Let's see how we go. I'm ready to rate this.
Okay, not bad.
Eating the pineapple now.
Not bad.
It's going in.
I wouldn't eat this as a regular snack. It is.
I like
you
it.
You guys seem to like
good.
it.
I like it.
It's sugary.
This is great. It's sugary. Way too much sugar, but like
way too much sugar.
It's like a funnel cake. It's like a junk food I could have at a baseball game, at a jazz festival. I would 100%. All right, I'm endorsing this. I am endorsing Kool-Aid pineapple to the world. I don't know if I would make it in my washing machine. I feel like other stuff's gone through that washing machine.
There was a video I saw.
A guy was making it in his washing machine.
There was a video I saw. A guy went to Costco and bought literally like a pallet full of jarred pineapple to do this. It's good. Not bad.
This is great.
Wow.
You're missing out, Jack.
Blake,
You're missing out, Mikey.
Yeah, you guys are missing out.
Blake, have you seen the video of this like young white kid and he tries the pineapple Kool-Aid and he's like, "Dude, big guy." Have you seen this, Russ? Do you know what I'm
Do we
talking
have
about?
this? Do we have this cut?
It went super viral. It was like this young white kid, and it was like a modern "Cash Me Outside." How about that moment?
Oh, we do. We have it. Play clip 17.
Wait, we had to play this.
That big guy.
Oh yeah, appreciate you, buddy. Yes, sir.
I'm trying to take these out, and they just splatter everywhere.
Yeah, they really do.
Here, do you want to swap some? I gotta try one of each. Otherwise, I'm a coward.
Ooh, did you drink the liquid, Blake? Can you give it a gulp?
I'm not slurping the liquid. That's a way to die. That way lies perdition. We were just talking about what could make you go to hell. I think gluttony is a sin, and I think literally just drinking half a cup of sugar in your Kool-Aid water because you're just that decadent for sweetness, that might violate a commandment.
I'm not doing it either.
Blacktivities.
All right, so this is black cherry.
So here's the problem with slurping it. You cannot see through this. That's the issue. There's so much stuff in here that you just can't. That's a problem to me. That's too much
Black cherry Kool-Aid pineapple is amazing. I mean, I'm giving that my full, unambiguous, maximum endorsement. That is amazing.
This is my
favorite. You guys gotta go get this. It takes 24 hours to prepare properly.
Wow.
This is my favorite. Definitely not Maha approved, just so everybody's aware.
Oh yeah. When I think Alex Clark shamed me on X when I announced that.
Could you make a Maha version of, I mean, you're talking about pineapple and sweet flavoring. Could you make a Maha version of this?
Ooh.
I mean, yes, but like, I don't know if it would taste. I think it would just be more pineapple forward at the end of the day.
Now I'm imagining like healthy Kool-Aid and you put in stevia or something. Stevia absorbed pineapple.
Stevia might not taste great.
I feel like that you would lose some of the spirit of it, because I think part of the spirit of this is it is a completely ridiculous food to actually consume.
Dylan in the chat goes, "Watch Blake pull up to the hood to get his fix."
Oh, 100%. No, this is great. Grape's good too.
Yeah,
Grape
this is definitely a nice little like snack, but don't make this a normal thing, because.
All right, you guys. I mean, I hope everyone should get this. This is amazing. Everyone in chat should try Kool-Aid pineapple.
At least try it. It's a fun little activity.
All right, I'm so glad we did this, but we have another topic to get to. We can't marinate too long on Kool-Aid pineapple. Jack, you wanted to talk about the downfall of the boomers in Hollywood. They're finally being vanquished.
Well, I wasn't so sure if I saw it as much of a generational play in this, because it's more than just this. But I more wanted to talk about the fact that Star Wars specifically has been beaten at the box office. This movie Mandalorian that we led a boycott on, and then some people decided
I think
to.
Only you did, Jack. Everyone else was breaking the boycott.
Not actually listen to, which is kind of weird when you give the audience a mission and then the host of the show just don't follow it. But whatever. We'll figure out how to do podcasting one of these days, and or like political movements. But the situation here is that this movie that was made by a YouTuber, and then the movie Backrooms, which so that was the movie Obsession. Then the movie Backrooms, which is based on really just an online creepypasta, which turned into kind of a YouTube trend. Both have beaten Star Wars in the past week at the box office, and I think that's huge.
Yeah. Backrooms and Obsession.
Yeah, I'm looking at the gross
Russ,
chart
you're
now.
You're our resident media guru. Can you give us sort of the the backstory on those two films, Obsession and Backrooms, just for someone who has no idea how it worked. They didn't really come up the traditional way, did they?
No. So the directors are they're
Zoomers, right?
Zoomers, like YouTube guys. And I mean, this also leads into Jack, you and I talked about it when we were at the All American Halftime Show. Was the other movie that came out from a YouTuber, which was Iron Lung.
What's that?
Yeah, exactly.
And that was based off of a video game, but he's Markiplier is the one who directed
Markiplier.
that. And that, Jack, you saw it. Did that made its money back, didn't it? Like,
I have to double check. I'm pretty sure it did pretty well.
Yeah,
Iron Lung. I liked it a lot. I thought that it could have used a little bit of editing. It was over 2 hours, which is ambitious for a movie that only has like one actor in it.
One character.
Yeah, I mean, there's some other characters in a few scenes, but no, it was a smash hit. He spent $3 million on it. It made $50 million at the box office.
And to that point, I think this comes down to what we're starting to see is this resurgence of movies that are lower budget, that are actually speaking to audiences in a way that are being able to take over the box office and push something out like a franchise, like Star Wars.
Well,
and like
it's funny you say that, because someone was saying, "Oh, Star Wars, this big franchise, got beaten by Backrooms," and someone chimed in to basically say, "Actually, you only think that because you're over 40. If you're actually under 30." This is a film that is already about a well-established franchise. And I went and I looked it up. I'd heard of the Backrooms creepypasta, but I hadn't heard of the series. The first movie in the YouTube series that inspired that movie has almost 100 million views.
Wow.
Yeah, but it still started with a creepypasta. There's no. I mean, that's just obvious. Which is kind of the point.
100%. But what it's saying is there's actually an established franchise, such as it is, of videos. I think there's 30 entries. It's like 30 episodes. It'd be like, in a sense, it's the modern version of making a film out of a successful TV show. And there's a lot of successful TV shows that have not had 100 million people view their first episode. But apparently that's the case for Backrooms.
True.
It's making me aware of...
So, by the way, and Backrooms started on 4chan, which is crazy. So it did actually start on 4chan. So here's a question what we're talking about, though, isn't necessarily the establishment of the franchise. What we're talking about is the fact that there are now new paths to get to a wide audience, which is very similar to what we did with the Turning Point halftime show. We use podcasts, we use conservative media, independent media, to be able to get to this mass wide audience. You see this in elections when Turning Point Action does the exact same thing. We're using non-traditional means to reach out to these audiences, and we found success with that in terms of the viewership. They're seeing huge success at the box office, and it's kind of just showing that the traditional gatekeeper models are broken. And so the fact that there's a huge YouTube series on it is just kind of making our point that this indie media is actually taking off in ways that the old system hasn't quite figured out yet. Blake, I was thinking of an interesting question, though, would be how do you credit the original author of Backrooms if it was a 4chan poster?
Man, it'd be kind of funny if someone would like, here's $1 million, and I will leave it in escrow, and it will go to a person who can come forward and conclusively, satisfactorily prove they authored that post.
It's funny.
Yeah, and speaking of Boomer-Zoomer divide, a weird thing about this is, Jack, is 4chan dead now? I feel like when's the last time a new thing blew up because it was on 4chan?
Well, it's been so dead, and it was dying before Elon bought X, but it died completely after Elon bought X. And it's just not, it had been brigaded too much. It had been inundated with too much just, anon slop, I don't even know what you call it, just anti-4chan stuff that, I don't think anything new has arisen there. But at the same time, a lot of that same anon energy is now just on X.
And I suppose it's probably for the best, because thinking about how 4chan works with everyone being anonymous, it would get absolutely ruined by modern AI. Everyone would just make an AI account and just spam things all over it. So in a sense, it probably died at the exact right moment where it could live on in our dreams.
I think it's
but
really interesting.
It's not so much that it died; it's that it won and took over the world, literally.
I also think there's a tendency for horror movies with very low budgets to go very viral and do well in the box office. Like, this isn't the first time this has happened. I think it was like Blair Witch Trials was one of it. Paranormal Activities, Saw was one of these. The Purge was one of these. Insidious was one of these. All of the movies I just named all had like a budget under $1 million, 1.5 million. Like Blair Witch Trials was like 20,000 to make, and it did 100 million in the box office. So there's just a tendency for a lot of people who love horror movies to just support creators that are making a very low budget horror movie, and then to just show up at the box office and to do it. I don't know if that's like directly tied to the fact that Star Wars also, The Mandalorian, Grogu also came out around the same time.
I also think that this has more also to say just about the people who are being who are doing these projects actually caring about the product. Hilariously enough, going back to even just what we were talking about with the Christian energy drinks, like when you look at YouTube now, and like these directors were YouTubers, the amount of like fan films or small films that you can find that on YouTube that are really highly produced, but actually like hold on to the essence of whatever they're doing in a way that you're like, oh wow, this is really good. Like, I remember literally I just watched one of the best things I've seen in a minute. It was essentially, the premise is, what if Wolverine was a Viking? And honestly, probably the best depiction of Wolverine that we've seen in media in quite a long time.
I can really buy that, and I think a big reason I can see it, especially I think this is the biggest weakness of Western big budget cinema, is that everything is coming through not even just a corporate architecture, but it's a heavily editor and producer driven thing. Everyone gets so many hands in the pot every single time.
So many cooks in the kitchen.
And you can get a lot of really terrible stuff, but the opportunity for something really brilliant when something is basically the work of one lone actor who can just decide whatever he wants. And that's how you get things that are really memorable, really iconic, really different. Yeah. That's actually why that's why the Star Wars prequels remain so iconic, because George Lucas is this weird guy who just threw all this weird stuff. And are they good movies? No, but they're incredibly memorable as a result.
I'll say, so I haven't seen Backrooms yet. I did see Obsession, and just on that note, you can tell that Backrooms has such a unique kind of story and lore, and the way it's set up, and I love the way that it was created. So for people who don't know what it is, it's this idea that you're when you go into the back room of a hotel or a shopping mall or an office center or an office building or something, what really goes on in those liminal spaces, the spaces between the spaces. And it's plays with that and plays with the horror of those sort of spaces. And so people would be creating their own stories, people would be creating their own versions of this. And then eventually, after it had been quite viral for some time, this guy took to YouTube and started making his own movies of it based on a meme that had already existed. And then that guy in turn became, I guess it was A24 came in and made him the director of this. And he does have some, he has quite a few celebrities that are in it. So I can't say that this is completely indie, but the process certainly is. And I just incredibly unique, incredibly amazing. Obsession, on the other hand, good movie, but it's not a unique premise at all. The idea that it's the monkey's paw, so it's just another monkey's paw kind of remake where he goes to a shop and finds that take this thing and make one wish and it'll make whatever your wish come true. So he says, oh, I want this girl at my work to fall in love with me, and then she does, and everything goes horribly wrong. So I mean, that's not really a new premise. It's well made. It wasn't super scary. So if you're not someone who's like really into horror, I would recommend it as something
definitely
where
gonna have to check that out.
It's not a scary movie. There is some gore, here and there. I didn't particularly find anything scary in the film at all. And, there's some good suspense, things like that. But yeah, just as a premise, there was that movie Ruby Sparks that came out a couple years ago, which is more of like a romantic comedy version of the same thing. It's got Paul Dano and I think his wife, Zoe, I forget her last name, and she's the star of it. Where kind of the same situation where a man controls a woman in all of this. But there's some good twists. There's some good discourse in it, and funny enough, Bishop Barron posted a long review of Obsession, which I thought was really interesting. That here's Bishop Barron commenting on the viral Zoomer movie of the summer, and he had a great take on it. He said, "Don't mess with the demonic." And I said, "Yeah,
Speaking of demonic,
I couldn't agree more. I think that's well, just real quick before you segue. I've always thought that that's a cool. That's kind of like an interesting use for horror, that it's sort of like backdoor, way to, bring people to Christ in a sense, because, you need to have some counterbalance to the demons. You can't follow that path.
Speaking of demonic, we saw this, and this is actually a lot scarier than any of the horror movies that we've discussed, even the spookiest ones. True. And this just flitted across, went very viral yesterday. And it's the saga of Jesse Ridgway. Jesse Ridgway has decided to tweet his wife's abortion.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All right. Now, yeah. Wow. I forgot that was the next topic. Yeah, this is okay. Yeah.
So, Russ, you're familiar with who this guy is?
I've seen some of his videos. I've seen clips pop up on my TikTok. But he's a YouTuber called Mr. Juggernuggets.
Juggernuggets. And he has 4.5 million subs or so?
Yeah, 4.34 million subs. And what I've seen is that he makes essentially content where it's psycho, literally this is a title
those
of
fake,
one of his
fake real videos.
Yeah, Psycho Dad destroys Twitch 2.
Yeah, Psycho Dad runs over video games with lawnmower.
Yeah,
I saw
so
that.
it's very vlog-esque style, but he's been essentially vlogging his life, coming from his marriage and all of this different stuff.
So one of those guys who's just publicly shown every part of his life. Correct. And that's taken a really dark turn because yesterday, so Jesse and his wife had announced they were expecting. In fact, I think that Destroys Switch 2 was their gender reveal, nonsense like that. Yeah. And then he just announces this yesterday. This week, my wife and I made the very difficult decision to terminate our pregnancy due to trisomy 21. That's Down syndrome, the extra chromosome. The choice was not made lightly. We really appreciate all of the personal stories you guys shared with us, especially the unconditional support we received from fans, no matter what we decided. So I guess he'd announced they'd found this and then left people in suspense about whether they would murder their child or not. He goes on at length. I know some of you will be very disappointed to hear the news.
Wait, Blake. So are you saying that he turned this into like an arc,
like a LeBron decision? Yes.
So literally, I kid you not, these are the last couple of videos that he has. The one, we're having a baby 2 months ago. A month ago, Psycho Dad destroys Nintendo Switch 2, which was also their gender reveal. And then a month ago, we received devastating news, Psycho update.
Yeah, and they've done live tweet videos. I'm actually going to warn you, there's nothing gory or whatever, but this is upsetting to me to hear them talk. This is a video. I believe they did this last week.
Can I say, is there a chance that this is all fake?
No.
Is there a chance that this is all?
I hope. Well, I guess I hope it's fake because otherwise they murdered their child, and that's a horrible thing on their soul.
There's a chance that this is all. I mean, it's a YouTuber, right? So we should perhaps take it with a grain of salt.
Based off the style of his videos, and the fact that he's using X rather than just using YouTube, this does not come off as fake.
And they made this clip, which also, I guess they could have acted it. People can act, but they made a clip about this is kind of their LeBron decision hype, where they found out and they're reacting to it. Clip 16.
Not the result we wanted to see, guys. I started to get kind of a not good feeling just when the results were sitting here. That's why I didn't want to open them. I started to feel really uncomfortable about it. just kind of in shock, like truly. We talked before this, guys, about what would we do if we confronted this scenario, because this was the more likely scenario. We talked about terminating the pregnancy. Obviously things could change because this is traumatic, like very traumatic. And I know you guys even watching this, this is traumatic for the whole community. I think now that we have a definitive result, we'll talk with these counselors and we're gonna have some hard conversations. It's just all very overwhelming and confusing to navigate. Ashley is almost halfway through this thing. Not saying we force it, but like the kid seemed healthy, and there's been stories where the kid comes out and is like super functional, and so it's like, I don't know. There's a lot to digest, and we're not really going to be doing that in this video. We just wanted to let you guys in on what the results were.
Oh, I was ready. I was ready. I gotta start all over. The start of our journey, you know, of just trying to start a family. This is how it starts.
A lot of people, it's not easy ever, you know, whether it's a miscarriage out the gate. You know, it's hard to look at like silver linings, but I mean, the fact that you can get pregnant is good. We weren't sure, and it was instant. We don't know why this happens. Maybe it is a birth control over a decade. Maybe it is just random genetic sequencing and it glitches, you know, just like cancer cells. Like sometimes it's just, we don't know. Guys, I'm gonna kill the camera.
That is one of the most dreadful videos I have ever seen in my entire life.
So just to understand the context, so because I saw the tweet that was up there that said we have made the decision, but the decision here is this is when they got like the final confirmation of the Down syndrome.
It's when they got the sheet of paper that let them know.
They haven't
the
yet
sequencing.
made the decision at the point of when they were filming this.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
What an awful husband. Like, she's crying next to him and he's basically encouraging her and encouraging their marriage.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, she's like, I was ready. Like, I was so ready, and he's over here like, meh.
Like, he could have
He's
made
like,
a
let's check the
choice to be a
comments.
good husband and been
See if
like,
we have
this
super
is our time.
chats. Sorry.
This is our time to have a family. Like,
yeah, he's a
that was
POS.
awful. And they go into all the horrible things where they say, okay, 50% of babies with Down syndrome have heart defects. Many have hearing challenges. I didn't realize how tough it would be for the child, let alone the family. More often than not, they would be dependent on others for the rest of their lives. So instead of that, we killed our baby.
Yeah.
This is such BS too. Like, they're acting as though they're the victims here. Like, you're killing somebody. Yeah. You're killing somebody that did not have a choice. And you're turning yourself into the victim. How hard it is for you.
No, everything about this is evil. Everything about this is evil.
Just wait, it gets worse. Because we have
just to add that because remember they're monetizing their own
100%. They're monetizing their grief and
murder. They're monetizing the murder of a child, and they're saying that, you know, as you say, they're the victims. So I mean, yeah, I talked about exploitation earlier, but this is like exploitation of sin itself.
It's literally on, like, because I have the tweet open, it's suggested as a follow to me. And it just says this thing, 4 million on YouTube, 2 billion views, creator of Psycho series. It's incredibly upsetting for me to see all of his, I'm an influencer, here's how successful I am as an influencer. He kills his baby, and then the whole process is live blogged from beginning to end. Oh, we just got our test results. Here's our reaction. And even maybe someone else did this edit, but I suspect they did this themselves. If that clip they did, it's got those jump cut, like little edits where, we have to cut out dead hair here.
I think the original video was 3 minutes. I think somebody clipped it down just to cut out some of the pauses. But to make matters worse, throw up 15. He has a series of tweets that a year ago, his dog was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And I kid you not, in this tweet, it literally says one of the saddest days of my life. And
dude,
his dog is alive a year now. Like, it goes to the next one, and he's like giving a praise report. But this is the guy who's over here saying that it's too much. it's too much for his family to go to term with a child that's going to have Down syndrome.
He won't have a disabled child.
But
we'll
spend the money to get our dog free of cancer. Like, what?
Right. No, this is an example, and you could see it. Even personally, I could hear it, in his voice, with the way he's talking. He's just someone who's very weak. He's someone who lacks any physical or moral strength at all, is not willing to live for anyone other than himself. Clearly doesn't care that his wife is crying there on camera, and is more than willing to exploit her grief and that moment. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah, that is not sacrificial
it just shows
love.
A weakness, a cowardice, a narcissism, a lack of actual love. And it's
that's
so
not
sad
a man. That's not a man.
In our culture, this is, it's everywhere. It's just everywhere.
It's one of the most evil things I've ever seen. We were disagreeing what is evil at the start of this. I think we're all in consensus. That's one of the most evil.
Yeah.
I want to shout out Zuzu, who donated and said, this is what happens when you raise godless beta males.
Amen, Zuzu.
Definitely a part of it.
Amen.
I think it is certainly a beta male thing to kill your children as moment things become slightly difficult.
Yeah,
Don't do this.
I made sure not to. I didn't engage with his tweet. I saw it coming around, and I made sure not to engage with it because Twitter bases monetization on engagement now. So if I engage with it, he makes money.
Fair.
Yeah. Very good. Very good move.
Fair. This
and I
boils
think
my
about that
blood.
stuff all the time. I think about that stuff all the time, whether it's Jesus juice or stuff like this. I don't want to do anything that supports that kind of stuff. I really don't, ever.
All right. Well, we have a hard out here, but this was some very fun topics. Yeah. One very unfun topic. Happy birthday to Andrew. Go Nick Sangelo. We're big 5-0 for your team
Andrew
here.
Colbert, the big 5-0.
And as always, everyone.
I asked him how 70 was.
Oh,
the big 6-0.
Well, we'll see how that series goes. Maybe it'll be over by next week. Until then, keep committing thought crimes.
Thought crime is death.